Please read the disclaimer. XRP holders, Trump just said that something could be happening in the next 48 hours. Plus, we got PPI results, potential no tax on a certain crypto, and the new the new Fed chairman discloses what kind of crypto he likes, doesn't like. We'll talk about all that. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button and let's get into it. So currently XRP is sitting at $1 and 30 almost 37 cents, down actually 0.5% on the day. It was a very interesting trading day. We have Bitcoin at 74,666, Ethereum at 2,300. You can see down 1.5%. We popped a little bit here about an hour and a half ago, and then the market kind of sold off here without really a reason why, which is kind of concerning at 5:30 my time. So that's what 10:30 Eastern time, and then the market kind of popped up and then sold off. Without really a headline. It could be maybe that headline that the Trump, which we'll talk about in just a second. But we did start off the day with US March PPI inflation that rose to 4.0, its highest since February of 2023. Core PPI inflation was unchanged at 3.8, also the highest since February of 2023. We are officially now seeing inflation metrics in the US that are at 4% or higher. Inflation is back. And it doesn't look like the Fed chairman is going to be reducing interest rates anytime soon. We talked about potentially only the new chairman, which we'll get to in just a second, potentially reducing rates there. So it's interesting because the S&P 500 is actually up today. As you can see across the board, the VIX is down again, still under 20, which is bullish for the market. And the S&P 500 is up 1% and the NASDAQ is up 1.5%. So this is interesting because crypto is kind of a mixed bag today. All the liquidity is getting sucked by Rave Deo. It's up another 90% here today. I got stopped out here on this drop off that happened. So I'm not out of the position. I don't have a position open right now. It was dinner time and I just got stopped out and it popped back. This is what it's been doing multiple times. It will drop off and then, do a 40% movement. But, before that, it dropped 20% almost. So this is the risk of this asset. And, we're not crying on spilled milk. We'll continue to the next trade. As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. I do not know day to day what the market is going to do, what Trump is going to say, and how things are going to play out. Also, remember that I will never contact you on social media asking to sign up to anything or to send me any money. Those are scammers, those are imposters. Please be very careful out there. US moves to make stablecoin payments tax-free. The revised bill proposed that most stablecoin transactions won't be taxed as long as their value stays within nearly the same, within 1%, right? No gain or loss shall be recognized unless the purchase price is under 99% of its value, the bill says. This replaces an earlier $200 tax-free threshold with a broader approach. So if they want people to actually use stablecoins, they're going to have to make it worthwhile. If every single transaction you do with a stablecoin is going to need a CPA and needs to report it to the IRS, then that's complicated and people are not going to use stablecoins. And so this is a fix to the bill. And so this was the $200 tax-free. Now we get this much better update for stablecoins. And again, I think that stablecoins will be the gateway crypto for many investors into the crypto market. We are seeing that, according to Kobesi here, hedge funds continue to aggressively cover their short positions. Hedge fund short exposure in the US listed ETF fell 11.5% last week, the largest weekly short covering in the last decade. This makes sense when you look at where the NASDAQ is and where stocks are. And even the NASDAQ, wow, is almost at a new all-time high in the middle of a war with oil under 100, 92. But with this whole situation, it's still going up. What a recovery. And this just, shows us how there was a lot of freaking out. Remember when it started and they said, oh, it's going to crash. Everything's going to crash. And yes, there was a pullback, but it wasn't as bad as people thought. This is usually what happens. And so we're seeing shorts closing and covering on the stock market, but not so much on crypto. I think most of the crypto shorts are waiting to see what happens with the Clarity Act and what happens with the new Fed chairman. So according to financial disclosures show that new Fed chairman contender Kevin Warsh had investments held through employment-linked vehicles that spans a wide range of tech, including some crypto infrastructure. Some of the names include Compound, Optimism, and Blast, and Solana, along with trading infrastructure and crypto investment firms, as well as investment in AI, biotech, and other platforms. The positions appear small, illiquid, and generate no reparable income, pointing to indirect venture-style exposure rather than direct liquid holdings. Still, likely one of the more crypto-heavy disclosure we've seen from a would-be Fed chair. So from an anti-SEC chairman to a pro-SEC chairman, from an I don't know if Powell was anti-crypto, he really didn't give a stance, to a pro-crypto Fed chairman. So times are changing. The price action, not so much, but the times are changing, and we're getting to a much better situation than where we were just a year ago, even though, right, the prices are not as good as we could have hoped for. The situation is a lot better, right? But we know that prices many times are inflicted or affected by sentiment. And when sentiment's low and there's no retail and institutions are still waiting to see what happens with the Clarity Act, then you're stuck like we've been stuck with the price action over the past few months. And all this could be solved with Clarity. I know that we're putting a lot of pressure on Clarity Act, and I have a fear that Clarity Act will come, it will pass, and the markets will still be stuck. That's one of the fears I have right now. Will it come true? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Will that be the scenario? And only maybe next year will crypto kind of wake up? Or will Clarity Act be the juice that we need to get things going? Let's talk a little bit about the conflict and updates there. So JD Vance said Washington is ready to put forward its proposal and further progress in negotiation on ending the war with Iran. Right now, it depends on Tehran. According to U.S. media, one of the key sticking point remains the nuclear program. The U.S. is pushing for 20-year, and the Iran want 5-year. And we got President Trump being asked by a reporter, or told by a reporter. President Trump told a reporter at the New York Post they should stay in Pakistan because something could be happening over the next 2 days. Yeah, we're getting second round of negotiation. The market is loving it. Crypto loved it for a second there and then started selling off, which was interesting. We'll see potentially what can happen here in the next hours, days, going into the end of the week. What happens with crypto and what happens with the Clarity Act? Sorry about that. Another interesting update here for XRPL. Boundless brings zero knowledge proofs natively to XRP Ledger, enabling confidential finance on XRPL. We continue to see more and more applications for XRPL. Of course, we've seen the amount of tokenization on XRPL go up significantly over the past few months. And now we are continuing to see more and more applications. The more and more Ripple gets out there, the more they use XRPL, and the more data that shows that XRPL can deal with a lot of things. And the upgrades that happened previously, security upgrades that we talked about that would enable institutions to do transactions that they couldn't do before because of data that need to be disclosed. And so all these updates are going to be significantly important for XRP and XRPL going forward when we enter the new phase of the crypto market. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you keep coming back to see my beautiful face and you're not yet subscribed. Drop a comment, 8 for infinity and beyond, and the easiest thing you can do to support the channel is to just smash that like button. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time, and like I always say, Let's make a lot of money.